True worship requires first what kind of a heart? An open heart. When God says, I want your heart, then you have to say, okay, now what I have to do if God's going to have my heart is I have to actually open up my heart to Him. The opposite of open is closed, obviously. And I will tell you, as you go through life, you're going to have either a closed heart to God or an open heart to God. And we have different phases and seasons of life, but the key is to move toward this open heart relationship with God. And by open heart, I mean this. I'll give you another phrase that you might be familiar with, that God has total access. He has a total access to every part of your life. Nothing should be off limits in your life to God. Now, there's certain things in your life that might be off limits to people because people can abuse and hurt you in certain kind of ways. So you have to be wise in your relationships with people, and you have to set something called boundaries, right? Anybody know what boundary is? I'm not going to let that person trample all over me, and I need to set some rules and regulations about how I'm going to live my life. And so boundaries with people, those are very good. Again, with boundaries with people, sometimes it's protective for the kind of things that can happen in your life, but you don't need any boundaries with God. I'll tell you why, because with God, when He has total access and there's no boundaries, you are safe, okay? You can trust your heart with God because God will never hurt you. And by having this open heart with God and total access, it means that you're really honest with God. You're not hiding stuff from Him. Do you remember in the Garden of Eden, that as soon as Adam and Eve sinned against God, the Bible says that their conscience was awakened and they sewed fig leaves together because they realized they were naked and they hid from God. And God comes through the garden saying, Adam, Adam, where are you? And Adam was hiding. He was not honest with God. See, what a difference would have been if Adam would have just come and said, God, I really blew it. I really messed up. I need to talk to you, God, instead of hiding. And so an open heart means that I'm honest with God. I'm not trying to hold anything back. I'm vulnerable before God. I know that I'm safe with Him, that I can share what's going on in my life. There's a trusting sense of my life that I'm welcoming God's presence and God's probing in my life. There's a key word there, God's probing, because if He has access to your heart, I promise you this, He's going to probe around in your heart from time to time to check out your health, your heart health.